morning, everybody. My name is Anne McDeish. I'm the Director of Admissions, and it's a huge pleasure to welcome you to this sixth form webinar. Not everybody is with us yet. We might just wait for a couple of seconds longer. But just to introduce a few people, we've got Alex Boyd-Williams, who is our Deputy Head Sixth Form, and Dr. Tim Filtness, who is our Deputy Head Academic. And they're both going to be talking through a few things with you today, which hopefully will be good information for you. And we're also joined today by Nenad and Sebi, who both joined us in the lower six last September. So they were in your shoes a year ago, almost exactly to the day. So they will hopefully know what it is that you want to know. But what we'd love you to do is ask lots of questions, ask away. It's really important that you find out what you want to know. Just a couple of housekeeping notices, if I may. The first thing is to say that this is being pre-recorded so that we can, being recorded so that we can send it on to candidates that are unable to join us today. And also, I hope that you have all received your pre-session coursework that came through from Lenka. Please could you just confirm receipt of that? If you haven't had anything yet, please do check your spam folders. There's just some key information in there about things that you need to do before the end of term. So without further ado, I will hand over to Alex and to Tim.
Thank you, Anne. Welcome from me. And then that's really the most important thing I want to stress to all of you, pupils and parents, is a big welcome to our community and welcome to being part of the sixth form of Sherborne. I'm conscious that you will have questions and I hope that we can answer them, or at least some of them, in this webinar. The questions might be about academic life. The questions might be about sport, activities. It might be about pastoral life, the boarding life of the school. And that's significant because with Sherborne, we're a full boarding school. So the holistic life of our pupils means everything to us. And we want you to have a really positive experience while you're here. And it's not just about academics, which of course we want to be positive, but we want every aspect of your life to be positive. And so you will form your character while you're with us, which will lead you on to great things when you leave the school. Also, a key part of the work that I do with the Careers and Pathways team here is to help every pupil find a pathway that is really inspirational for him and that helps him go on to lead a life of purpose and positivity. So that's something we'll want to work with you and include parents in that, in helping you find out what pathway really interests you, what post-18 pathway do you want to tread on yourselves. Is that university in the UK? Is that university somewhere else? Is that not going to university? Is that taking a gap year first? All these things. We'll want to help you and make sure that you find a really great and inspiring path to take on when you leave us. I'll hand over now to Dr. Filtness.
Welcome. It's nice to meet you. Some of you I've already met in person, which is lovely. Others I'm looking forward to doing so as soon as possible. I hope your GCSEs went well, and you should, if you're doing GCSEs, you should have finished them by now. So I hope they went well. I only have a few things that I wanted to cover off, but I'll take questions with Mr. Boyd-Williams later. The first is about GCSE results. So when you get your GCSEs, amidst popping non-alcoholic champagne, please do send us through your GCSE results so that we can see how you've done and we can share in your good news. If your GCSEs in some cases haven't gone as well as you would like, this sounds very pessimistic. I'm sure they will. But if they haven't, again, please contact us. We can help. So please do get in touch. If you want to have a conversation about your sixth form subjects, please do. So the kind of message there is, whatever's happened, tell us, and we'll celebrate with you or we'll help. You are allowed to change your mind about the subjects you want to do in the sixth form. That is absolutely okay. We need to have a conversation about that, and to look at the timetabling and to look at the whether there's space in the sets and whether they kind of fit with what you want to do. So again, if you're thinking about that, either over the summer or kind of early on in September, please do talk to us. We're here to help you. That is quite a nice segue into the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which is how can you build yourself up to kind of be successful in your time here? And there's two elements to that. One is, what should you do over the holidays? And I'll finish on that one. And the other one is, how should you tackle life in school? So there are three things, I think, that three pieces of advice, three areas that I suggest you think about. And I'm sure they were things that you would do anyway. But for what it's worth, these are the three areas I think lead to success. The first one is ask. Talk to the people around you. And by that, I mean your teachers, your housemaster, your tutor, Mr. Boyd Williams, myself, boys in the older years, boys in your class. The more you share in how you're doing, the more people can help you and lift you. One of the great things about this school is the community of people that are here. And I really mean that. I've been here 10 years. For me, that is probably the best thing about Sherborne. So buy into that, use that. And academically, the people that are around you, they will help you, they will bring you up, they will lead you to success. So ask and get help. Everyone needs help from time to time, and the more you plug into that, the better you'll do. The second thing, and I mean this academically, but also generally, is get stuck in. There are hundreds of things in the school that you can do academically, co-curricularly, socially. It's a whirlwind. And I mean that in the nicest sense. There's whatever you like, whatever you're into, there'll be other boys that are into that too. But you're not going to find them, you're not going to see them if you're in your bedsit on your own, not getting involved. We will encourage you, we will help you, we will show you all the things that are out there, but get stuck in. And academically, the same is true as well. Your subject, it doesn't have to just exist in the 8 periods a week that you have allocated to it and in the whole time associated with it. The more you get stuck into your subject, over and on top of that, the more you read, the more you consolidate, the more, the clubs that you go to that are academic, the additional sessions, the support, some of the stimulating kind of enrichment stuff. And an extra bonus with that is that a lot of that happens in conjunction with the girls' school. The more you get stuck in, the more you'll get out. And then the kind of third area is habits of work. You are the biggest determinant of your own success. I think at GCSE, it's more 50-50 with your teacher. But in the sixth form, it perhaps it's even 80-20, where you are in the lead. So how you approach what you do has a real impact. So I'm talking about things like when you do your work, do you leave it till the last minute? Do you tackle it proactively? I'm talking about things like, do you routinely go through what you've done in class yourself? Do you revise as you go along, consolidate as you go along? Or is that something that you wait for a block test to stimulate? The measures of success of people are much less about their academic abilities than they are the factors I'm describing, how they approach their work, how mature they are in their outlook, how much they want to succeed and are prepared to kind of go the extra mile. So set yourself up for success. Study periods are another factor here. You could view those as opportunities to do your homework, and that's absolutely fine. You could view those as opportunities for a bit of socializing as well as work. And again, that's fine. But the real secret is boys who hive some of those off to do extra stuff. I mentioned earlier on going through notes, checking that you understand it, writing lists of questions, getting help in those areas. That is the mark of the person who gets the A or the A star, not the person who's perhaps the most intelligent. So those are my kind of areas. Get stuck in, ask for help when you need it, use the people around you, and set yourself up for success with the habits of work. The last thing I'll say before I hand back over is the summer holidays is another opportunity to set yourself up for success. Some boys, I'm sure none of you, will take 9 weeks off. You definitely deserve a rest. You can see me, I look tired. I deserve a rest as well, same as you do. But 9 weeks, if you take all 9 weeks off, your brain will not be as up for learning as it is at the moment. So interspersed in that time, you need to do some stuff to make you think. The best thing that you can do is read. It absolutely is. It doesn't have to be a school book. Reading a novel, the school can provide reading lists, will provide reading lists. Reading some of the pre-season work, and not just to tick the boxes, but maybe to read just because you're enjoying it and you like the subject, perhaps a bit extra. So yes, do the holiday work, but start that reading, start that thinking early, and enjoy it. You are being given an opportunity and a gift that you are very lucky to have, and I'm really encouraging you to make the absolute most of it. Squeeze it for everything that it has to offer you. We'll help you do that. That's probably enough from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. So Nenad and Sebi, if I could ask you to join us now, with your cameras and your microphones on, if you can. That's brilliant, Sebi. Well done. That's great. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, Nenad and Sebi both joined us last year, so are in exactly the same place as you were 1 year ago. And therefore, what an ideal opportunity, but for them to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about their experience, where they're from, what subjects they're doing, and any other information that they feel is really important to you. So Nenad, if I could ask you to start, just because you're in the top right hand corner and then Sebi's underneath. So Nenad, if over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Miss Megdic, and greetings to everyone. My name is Nenad and I come from Serbia. As mentioned before, I joined last year in September, and I was in the beginning quite careful, I would say, with how I acted and everything, as I was getting used to the new environment, because Sherborne was completely different to what I was used to back at home. And I chose to go after sciences. I chose to study maths, biology, and chemistry here at Sherborne, because later on in the future I plan to do medicine. And I was completely surprised with how effective the teachers are, how much they care about us in class, how much time they spend with us to make sure we understand everything. And I was absolutely amazed by everything the school provided to me, to all the boys. The boys in my house immediately accepted me as if I was one of their own since day one, since third form. And I've made amazing connections with a lot of them. I took advantage of a lot of the different extracurricular opportunities in sports, in drama, everything I did before, but just I kind of notched it up a level. Everything other than music. Sebi's a music scholar, so he's going to be able to talk more about that. But yeah, Sherborne for me was what I was dreaming about for years as a kid in Serbia, and being given the opportunity to come here and spend time and give back to the school that's provided me with so much means the absolute world to me.
Thank you. That's wow. I'm quite an emotional person, so if I shed a tear, everybody, you know why. Sebi, over to you.
Hi everyone, I'm Sebi. I joined here in the lower sixth last year, and I went to Salisbury Cathedral School before here for my prep school. I was looking at Sherborne for third form, but at the time I didn't really want to board, so I went to a local co-ed school. And then for sixth form, I thought now is the perfect time to join. I'm ready, so I made the leap of faith, joined Sherborne, and it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I was a bit apprehensive about boarding at first, but all of the boys in my house really made me feel part of the team and the tribe really. I would say you need give everything to every sort of aspect of your life. I think the one thing I love about Sherborne is that you're not sort of stuck down into one sort of particular area. You're allowed to explore every single areas equally. So I do music, I do part of the chamber choir, I do choir. I'm also allowed to explore sports. I'm in the first team for tennis, hopefully captain next year, fingers crossed. And also academics wise, all of my teachers push me, but I feel like I'm not pushed in one certain direction, which I think is really good about this school. Um, my plans for after Sherborne, I'm thinking about potentially studying music at Oxbridge, but I'm also looking at some creative routes as well, potentially going down the film route, maybe studying abroad in the US or elsewhere. But yeah, no, my one big advice I would say to all of you is give yourself into everything, pursue every opportunity. These next 2 years for you will go so quickly. It feels literally like yesterday since I joined. So really maximize the time that you spend here.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. And I think, it's credit to you guys as well that you have thrown yourselves in, that you are both heading into the upper six in September or already doing it, but in roles of leadership. And so I think that's a really positive thing that you don't have to be here from the third form in order to become leaders of the school in the future. These guys have come in, they've done it. They have joined in the sixth form, and because of their commitment and the way in which they've taken advantage of everything, they've demonstrated that leadership quality that the school looks for in the boys when they're deciding who the prefects and heads of houses and what have you are. So that's brilliant. We have a few questions, if I may. The first one is, and I think Sebi, if we could start off on this, because you've touched on it, although I don't know how far down that programme you are, and Dr. Filtness and Mr. Boyd-Williams will be able to add in. But you mentioned about going to Oxbridge. Oxbridge preparations, can you talk about that?
I've joined the process quite late, as it's only something I've started looking at after my mock results, because I did better than I expected in those. But if you're dead set on it, you start the process in September really with societies such as Thinkers with the Girls' School, where you get to collaborate with them and further your academic enrichment. And then all of the teachers give you loads and loads of support with personal statements. So your best friends are basically the teachers. If you're thinking of that, go to them, be proactive in your learning, and seek out that support.
Fantastic, thank you. Tim, Alex, have you got anything to add?
Well, I can, of course, but Ned, you've been part of the Thinkers group. Do you want to talk about your experience a bit there?
Yes, of course. Even though I don't plan on going to Oxbridge myself, I plan on pursuing my further education abroad. Thinkers was something I was invited to, and I was very happy to join because it allows you to, as Sebi said, enrich your knowledge of the subject you plan to study in the future. And it allows you to spend more time with people that think alike as you, and it allows you to spend more time finding out new things about the subject you care about. And it really was, we met once a week or twice a week sometimes to just relax and talk about something we love. So it was definitely very useful in, pursuing our academic goals.
Thanks, Ned. The Thinkers group is our sixth form HAP group, our higher academic potential group, and the Thinkers boys will meet with the girls from Sherborne Girls who are in their equivalent group, and also pupils from the local state school, which is the Griffin, and it's a really diverse group of young people, bright, academic, curious young people, some of whom will be applying to Oxford and Cambridge, but like Ned, not necessarily applying to Oxford and Cambridge, but are high academic potential themselves, and curious thinkers who want to be part of that group. And pupils are invited in at various stages of the sixth form. Some will join straight away, and in Sebi's case, congratulations, Sebi. He's done really well in his recent exams, and so he's been brought into the group. And that's a really good example of how he's been identified as his tutor as a high academic potential student, and we want to push him as much as he wants to be pushed, and just keep as many doors open as possible and saying, look, you've done really well. There's an opportunity here. Let's explore that. So I think that's really key. It's very bespoke. Some students will not want to go down sort of a high elite academic education route, but they might have enormous potential in entrepreneurship, and so we look to cater for that as well. Dr. Felton, is there anything you want to add there?
I don't think so. I think you've summarised it.
Brilliant, thank you. We haven't touched on this too much. You've spoken about getting stuck in and getting involved in lots of things, but could you just talk us through some of the weekend activities? So sort of what happens on a Saturday and a Sunday here, from Saturday morning through to Sunday evening, and leading on from that, in the sixth form, the sort of access arrangements that you have for using the gym, if you're wanting to use the gym throughout the day or anything like that. If you could just talk that, so weekends and gym access. Let's go with Nenad first.
Of course, on Saturdays, Saturday evenings, after we finished our lessons in the morning and then our sports in the afternoon, we usually have a social with the girls' school. Now, there could be a range of different activities we could be doing. Usually, it's just a social meetup where we can go, talk, listen to music, whatever. However, sometimes there's bigger events, such as Quartz Fest, which was a few months ago, which was this very big event with live music, food, games, and everyone had a really good time. And everyone usually enjoys spending time at socials. Now, after that, Sunday, the mornings are usually a little more slow. Everyone has kind of time to recuperate, regain some of their energy from the week. In the evening, we have Abbey service usually, which is a bit longer than the Wednesday Abbey service we have. And we then get ready for the following week.
Brilliant. And Sebi, have you got anything that you want to add in there in terms of sort of house activities, trips, anything like that you've been involved in?
I think Ninad managed to cover that all quite nicely, but all I would say is that on Saturday you get to play a match, which is good fun for your sport. And then in the evening the socials are really good, and like Ninad was saying, we have bigger socials every term, such as Quartz Fest, which also gives you the opportunity to perform there, which is a really good opportunity. And then Sundays you occasionally get house trips, like we did a walk for charity, which is really good fun for Abbey Lands, but sometimes you'll go karting and do other activities, which is always good fun. Okay. And in terms of you've got some free time, you haven't got a trip on, or the trip that's going on is maybe for the younger year groups and they don't need your support or leadership on that. Can you pop into town, and can you meet up with people from the girls' school or from other boarding houses? How does that work for you? Do you want to go?
All right. Yeah, well, on Sundays, you are pretty much free. If there's nothing on Sunday afternoon, you're pretty much free to go about as you please. You have time to do haul if you need to. You can go into town and go visit shops, even though they close a bit earlier on a Sunday. You could go up to a girls' school house, go visit friends. You could go to the gym, which is something I like to do because the gym is open for all pupils, and we have set time slots throughout the week. It's open throughout the week, and a lot of the boys utilize it very much because it's very useful to not only boost your physical fitness and health, but also socialize with people and spend your time doing something very helpful to you. But on Sunday, it's open for longer, so you can spend more time in there if you want to.
Okay. Debbie, have you got anything you want to add there? Do you do anything different?
I would just say no, it's quite nice. Like you get to meet up with the girls' school, which is quite good. Go to other houses. So it's always quite nice always to just like go to a coffee shop with your friends and some of the girls. And yeah, just chill out on Sunday. But also it's a good time to catch up on work. And sometimes there's other activities that go on. There's lots of music events normally on a Sunday, which is also quite good fun.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And then I suppose, Nenad, you probably get a bit of a slant on that, given that you come from Serbia and therefore you have to travel. But in terms of travel arrangements and getting here, are you supported with that? Do you have to do everything by yourself, or do you know that there are people that you can go to for help with that?
I'm very aware that there are people that care where and how I get to Sherborne and out of Sherborne because as a foreign boy who doesn't live in the UK, my parents, every expat and every half-term break and every term break have to fill out a form where they state where I'm going, who I'm going with, how. I know that, so the school knows that I'm safe and so that they know that I'm going to be all right and so that everyone else can feel more secure about traveling. So definitely the school takes a lot of care
Brilliant.
about us foreign boys.
Okay. Alex, do you just want to talk a little bit about more the sort of pastoral side of life in the sixth form, including the stuff that you do, the assemblies and the well-being activities and things like that?
Yeah. So I think as a member of the community, we get together quite often. So if I start with on Monday morning, that's a whole school assembly. That's very often led by the headmaster, but it could be led by Dr. Filtness or myself, or sometimes students will lead that assembly. And it's really important for us to come together for obvious reasons because we are a community and some key messages will be delivered in that that forum, but also key talks about character, about ideas, about important events that are happening in the world. Then straight after assembly on a Monday, all boys will go to tutor time, and tutor time means that every boy is with their tutor and the other tutees in that group. And there's usually about eight to 10 boys in that group. And that's for 45 minutes. And usually that will start with, the boys informally with their tutor and with each other talking about, perhaps what happened on the weekend or what's coming up in the week. And then they'll often do a current affairs quiz, but it depends on the tutor groups. I'm interested to know from the boys what they get up to. And then there are certain tasks which might need to be done. So for example, Nenad and Sabi have been recently working on their university applications and using that time to think about that. But the key thing about tutor time is it's helping the boys help themselves and each other set up for the week ahead. We also get together as a sixth form for a sixth form assembly on Thursday morning. And again, that's often led by myself, but I very much enjoy having guest speakers and sometimes we have ultra billions who will come back and talk, or parents who will provide talks, other colleagues, and of course, current sixth form pupils. And there's a whole wellbeing program, which includes guest lecturers, talks. We've had leadership conferences, we've had entrepreneurship events. So there's a lot going on across the curriculum, which is helping the boys ultimately be prepared for the life that is beyond beyond Sherborne School. I'm keen to know from the boys, how you found that Monday morning tutor time and what you get up to and what you enjoy most about that experience. Now, do you want to kick off?
Sure. On Monday mornings, usually we would kick off with a current affairs quiz, especially in the first term. We made it sort of a competition, and we were quite competitive, the boys in my tutor group at least. We had a winner at the end of the term and everything. We had a prize. But we'd spend that time either just chatting about what we were up to, if there's anything going on, if we need any help with anything, because the tutors are there to help us, and they're always ready to step in if we need anything. And then recently, we've been spending more time on Unifrog and on other resources that we use to kind of start thinking about or working on our university applications.
Thanks, Nana. Similar experience for you, Sebi?
Yeah, no, very similar. Yeah, for me, the current affairs quiz is one of my highlights of the week. It does
It's really
get
good,
quite
isn't it?
competitive
I
sometimes.
really like it.
It's very good. Yeah. But no, for me, I find it's a good time just to check in with my plan, like for universities and applications. I think it's quite important just because your university sort of application and what you want to do will evolve around the year. So I think it's a good thing just to check in each week to see how that's going. Have you had any new thoughts about it? So yeah, no, I think it's just a good time to reflect on thoughts. I think it's really beneficial.
And guys, just sort of picking up on that, and part of Alex's team as well is the most incredible careers team and support that there is around. Guys, do you want to just talk about that, how you may have used that? Because it's quite extensive, isn't it? It's certainly nothing that I have experienced before coming to Sherborne. So it's quite a useful opportunity for you there.
Absolutely. Since day one, the careers team has been wanting to help, wanting to figure out, okay, how can we get from point A to point B? How can we get you to your goal where you want to go? And even though I'm planning to take on a path that's quite unusual to the careers department because it doesn't involve any predicted grades or anything, they're still very, very interested in trying to help me in any way they can, in the sense that entrance exam preparations or any qualifications that I require for a different language, they want to know everything that I need, and they want to know how they could influence that, how they could help me achieve all of that. So it's very, very useful.
Brilliant. And Sebi, how about you?
No, I find them extremely useful. I think it's really beneficial just to book a meeting with them because they're open all year round, and I'll do it before they get booked up because in the later months they get booked up with everyone panicking about UCAS applications. But I think that's the good thing about it is that no matter what your sort of goal is, they'll support you in that. So all I would say is just be proactive in trying to seek that help because all of the opportunities are on the plate for you here. But it's just about going to get them and being proactive.
Brilliant. Thank you. So there you go, guys. The first thing you need to do when you get here is get your appointment booked.
You'll have a lot of help from your tutor, and the careers and pathways team will interact with you and your house and your life. So we'll get to know you pretty quickly, and we'll get to figure out how we can help. There's a big team here, and it's not just teaching staff, it's professional services staff as well. And the key part of that is if the team was only made up of teaching staff, very often we'd be in lessons, we'd be in meetings, we wouldn't be available. But because we're professional services staff, there's always someone up here who can help you. So you can book an appointment anytime, particularly in the sixth form, where you're going to be busy with lessons and meetings and different clubs and activities. But if you know when you are free, you can book a slot. That's very, very helpful. And that's true of parents as well. We often have conversations with parents to reassure, to provide guidance, and to help work with you as a family to make sure that the pathway that your son is aspirational for is something that we can help him achieve. The extensive team includes a head of global universities, it includes a head of sixth form HAP, or higher academic potential, and also a number of members of the department who will specialise in apprenticeships or degree apprenticeships, apply applications for the army, and so on. So it's a big team, and going back to our mission, we want to help every pupil find the most inspiring pathway for him that's going to lead to a life of purpose and positivity for him, and so he can go on and be happy and do good things in the world. When we've been talking about pastoral care, and I do want to draw attention to a really key role and a really important person in your life at school. And of course, the housemaster is going to be a really key person in your life. Your tutor is going to be a really important person in your life. But the matrons are going to be, without question, key figures, because they will be in the house day to day, all the time. They will know you. They will really care for you, and you will have a very profound relationship with your matron. And that's a really key part of our pastoral offer. I've worked in lots of boarding schools over the last 25 years, and the provision that we have at Sherborne is really special here. And the relationship that I see that boys have with their matron is really, really significant. So I think that's something that will hopefully reassure the boys, but also particularly reassure the parents. And, you know, parents, you can pick up the phone and get in touch with the matron anytime. They will know what's going on in your son's life. They'll know what he's thinking. They'll know what he's finding difficult. They'll know what he's really enjoying. It's a really profound relationship. And of course, the matron and the housemaster work very, very closely together. So there's a big team of people, matron, housemaster, tutor, teachers, senior leadership, who are all working together with you, parents, to support your son at school.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. I couldn't have said it better. Now we'd like to just see whether there's any more questions. So those were all the questions that were submitted beforehand that we've asked. Does anybody have a question that they would like to ask, either verbally or through the chat? Please do use the chat facility on the toolbar at the top if you would like to ask a question. In the meantime, I'm just going to ask Dr. Filtness if he's got any final words of wisdom, just in case there aren't any further questions.
Only to reiterate what myself and Sebi and Nenad and Mr. Boyd-Williams have said, which is to make the most of all the opportunities that you have. It will go really fast. The boys are nodding. It absolutely will. And I mean that in a good way. It will really go quick. So throw yourselves in.
Thank you. Mr. Boyd-Williams, anything from you? There's still nothing, no questions being asked. Oh.
No, sorry, I've got a question there. Can you turn on
Yes,
the
please
video?
do. I can't see you,
hi.
so.
Hi, I'm
Can
trying
you turn
to,
on the camera.
but I can't turn it on.
Don't worry.
Turn the camera on. It
Do
says.
ask.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn on the camera. Sorry.
Don't worry.
Yeah, see it. Here's
Yeah.
Casey.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Jun Yan here.
Hi, Jun Yang.
Well, hi. It's very comforting to hear all the information you guys shared. I've just got one quick one, because I mean, it was mentioned multiple times that, you know, the boys will need to throw themselves in. You know, sometimes boys are not very proactive about their needs or when they need help. In the case of Jun Yan, for example, he spent his entire life doing IB. So his NYP last year, didn't do O levels. I believe there's some sort of continuation between O levels and A levels, or GCSE and A levels. It would be great if the teachers would can spot whether he is, you know, if it is at times struggling, or if there are gaps between what he studied in the past in NYP and going forward to A levels. I'm sure there will be. I would encourage him to be more proactive, but then I don't know. Boys are boys. Whether he will be proactive enough to ask questions, to seek help when there are gaps that need to be filled. Thank you.
Yeah, don't worry, Tim.
We have a couple of boys in the lower sixth at the moment who've come in having done the middle years program, one from the Netherlands, for example. Okay. And so it's absolutely a path that leads to success. The A levels and GCSEs are different, obviously, but it's not the case that you have to have done GCSEs in order to access the A levels. So if you take history, for example, A-level history, the GCSE that we teach focuses on modern history, and the history A-level, part of it's modern history, but another part of it is ancient. So so actually the GCSE doesn't help you at all for that aspect of history A-level. You can do history from a solid background of skills, and you can acquire those skills from any supportive, internationally recognized qualification. The middle years program is excellent, and I'm sure that JUSEM will do really well, having covered the middle years program and worked hard.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No. Alex, have you got any final words of wisdom?
I think just to add, it's a really good question. So thank you for asking that. I think we're used to having lots of boys from various educational backgrounds join us. The A-level courses and the BTEC courses as well are facilitating subjects which will lead to an infinite number of different pathways. I think a key thing is, because of the close community that we are, and because of the close relationship between sixth form students and teachers, housemaster and sixth form students, matron and sixth form students, you very quickly will get noticed if things aren't quite right, if you are struggling, if you're not feeling on top of things, and if you feel like you need help and you need support. Every subject will have an academic support session that you could go along to. And so I think it would be just to reassure you, without question, you would have the support you need in order to thrive, and the support you need in order to ask someone, look, I need help, I'm struggling with this, can you go over this with me? And our teachers will be really, really happy to do that.
Yeah. Nenad, can I just ask, because you didn't come from a GCSE background, did you?
No, I did not.
No. So how have you found that transition from your education in Serbia into the A-level program?
Right. Well, as I had mentioned, the curriculum and the way things work here is completely different to how it works in Serbia. So I was in the beginning a little just trying to get used to it, but I don't feel like it was too difficult for me to adapt at all, because even though, for example, some of the things that I was taught in Serbia had not yet been taught in here, so I already had a little bit of a, I don't want to say advantage, but a pre-existing knowledge of some topics, while other topics that have already been taught here weren't taught there. A bit of a process just to get used to it, but not at all a difficult one. And it was very quick to get kind of used to what this system is, the A-level system.
Fabulous, thank you. So hopefully that's given you some reassurance that, no matter what, all will be well. And, please just ask. There is never a silly question. And I think you will find genuinely the staff hugely supportive, and they actively encourage it. They want to be involved in your learning. So ask, and you'll reap the benefits from that. So yeah, definitely. Boys, anything that you would like to add that hasn't been said that you think is really important for these guys coming in from wherever in the world they are, whether in the UK doing GCSEs or whether far flung? Any final words of wisdom that you would give these guys coming in to join the Sherborne community? Sebi, let's start with you this time.
I would just say you've got a really good opportunity now over the summer just to reflect on how you've been as a person. I think everything you've done so far, I would say reflect on you as a person and your values. Think about what have I done well? What could I do better at? And I think you're all going to be joining a new school, and it's a perfect opportunity to reinvent yourself. Think, what can I achieve better at? Could I be kinder, or could I do something, be more proactive in my work and stuff? So I just say, yeah, take this opportunity, see it as an opportunity, and throw yourself into everything.
Wow, yeah, reflection is a great thing. And I'm saying that to the boys that are joining our third form. I've told them to take time and reflect on the experience that they've had at prep school or their current school before joining us, because it will only hold them in good stead as they move forward. So wise words, Sebi. I think you may have read my postcards that I sent out. And Nenad, anything else that we haven't covered that you think is really important?
Not really. All I would add is try new things. Don't be afraid to try something new, because the school offers so many different opportunities in clubs and sports. And even if you've never done something before, or you've wanted to try something but maybe didn't have the opportunity to, the school does. And there's no reason you should be intimidated to not try it. I think whatever you like, whatever you feel could be for you, you should give a go, and it will definitely end up being a good experience, at least.
Fantastic. Thank you. Well, thank you all for joining us. It's been a huge pleasure to have you, and I hope that you found this helpful and encouraging and supportive. If you do have any questions that you didn't want to ask publicly and you would like to ask us, please just email admissions@sherborne.org and we will answer those for you. And if we in the admissions team don't know what they are, we will find the answer for you or put you in touch with a member of staff that can help or support. Please go through that pre-session coursework that we've sent through. It's there not to bamboozle you, it's there to support you and to make that transition easier for you, particularly if it's a subject that you haven't done before. So that's really, really important. But we're here to help. The admissions team is in office all over the summer. So if you do need anything, just get in contact with us. But if there's no further questions, my thanks to Mr. Boyd-Williams, to Dr. Filtness, to Nenad and to Sebi for joining us this morning. And of course, to you guys for joining us as well and for listening. Have a good day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.